All right, people. This is a subject that's slightly scientific, but you know me. I will put it in layman terms. All right. And what essentially I'm saying is that we have to use our scientific knowledge. Yeah. Hi, those of you who have joined me in the chat. We've got to use our scientific knowledge, yeah, to help us cope with targeting. Okay. Now, most research centers are based on helping people target us, because if we're in a capitalist environment, it's about what you can get from people, how good you can be, and how to exploit every situation. It's not really about defending yourself and defending people against exploitation, yeah, which is quite natural to a simian based life form. If you look at monkeys, they're not really concerned with protection, more about they're more concerned with trying to get what they can, the most of what they can in life. And since we evolved from those, allegedly, yeah, our nature is that. That's why monkeys don't make good pets. You can't pet a monkey, really. You could do, but you have to be watching it constantly, because it's just not, doesn't get it like that. So entanglements, I have a new consideration for entanglements. I will just basically brush through it. I don't know what the latest realizations are, but last time I visited entanglements was 10 years back, and it was basically if you have two particles which are in superposition, yeah, and essentially where you have, let's say, two photons which are at source, and you can't tell one from the other. Once you separate them and you form two particles, then the behavior of one is kind of like affects the behavior of another. So if you look at a photon, they're together and you separate them, and then you look at one photon and it's spinning up like that, instantaneously the other one will be spinning down like that. Yeah. So what they're saying is, if you make a photon spin up, yeah, and you look at the other one which it was entangled with, it will instantaneously start to spin down. It's always the opposite effect that happens. But what they're saying is that proves that the property of spin, yeah, can jump from one place to another faster than the speed of light. And they've yet to prove that it's still continuity that's causing that, rather than a jump, than a pixelated jump. Because when you say you can make this photon spin up, what exactly do you mean? You can't make a photon spin up. I'll connect it to targeted individual cases. So when they say they're making a photon spin up, that means they're not actually making the photon spin up. They're only waiting for it to start spinning up, yeah, for them to actually measure it. So if it's spinning like that, it won't be detected. But when it's spinning like that, it's detected. And as soon as you detect that and you look at the other one, it will be spinning down. Yeah. But there is tolerance and sensitivity, because if these two particles are together and they separate, they total energy will have to be matched. So if they were together, one was spinning up, one was spinning down, when they separate, that's still going to be the same. Yeah. When you look at the one that was spinning up, obviously the other one was spinning down. Yeah. When you wait for this one to be spinning up, at the same time, the other one would have been spinning down. They will be spinning. They will be related. It will be a related spin from the fact that they come from the same energy source. So does our consciousness. But I'll come to that. So for you to say you wait until this one is spinning up and to detect it, because that means that as soon as you see this one spinning up, this one must be spinning down, because when they were together, that's what they were doing. If one was spinning up, the other one was spinning down. It's just the time it takes for you to wait to see it spinning up, yeah, is also the time it takes for this one to match its spin in the opposite direction. So you haven't eliminated the time it takes to modify its behavior or to see it spinning up. So basically, it's still not tight enough to say that a property jumps. Yeah, it's still not tight enough. So a new consideration I've brought is exactly that. So we're all from the same energy source, the Big Bang. Yeah. So all the particles and energies in the universe were once entangled, yeah, into one atom. Yeah. So what it's like, if you have like I don't know what the fuck. Let's see. If you have, I'll use an example. What can I use? What can I use? Let's say you have a piece of paper like this. Yeah, it's one body. Yeah. If you bend it like that, this one will bend up, right? Because it's one body. It's all connected. It's the same energy. So if this one bends this way, that one must bend up to actually bring it back to equilibrium. So when you see one particle doing that, yeah, you know that somewhere in the universe there's a particle that must be doing the opposite. Yeah, that brings us to consciousness. Yeah, when you see one consciousness doing that, somewhere there must be another consciousness doing the opposite, because we're from the same energy source. Yeah, and this is why perpetrators, and you can predict when perpetrators, um, you can predict when you're gonna get perpetrated on from just considering that. Yeah, you can predict it. You could say that because there has to be a balance in what you're seeing. Yeah, if you see one person who's being good to you, yeah, chances are there's someone right there who's being negative to you. Yeah, it's got to balance. When you see good, there's got to be evil there. Yeah, because it's balance. It's like when something becomes good, at the same time something becomes evil. When something becomes dead, at the same time something becomes alive. Yeah, you see that's an emergent property, but they've noticed it with entanglements. It's just that it's the same energy source. You're just looking at it at a different time. Yeah, if I'm um if I'm as small as I don't know, as small as an ant, yeah, and this paper is doing that, yeah, right. So as soon as it's doing that, yeah, if I'm on this side, yeah, because I know how it deforms when it does that. If I see it like that on this side, I will know that on the other side it must be that. That's the same with consciousness. It's a universal consciousness. Yeah, it's one. Yeah, so it's energy, mass, everything is one. Yeah, so if you see that there's a lot of goodness, yeah, in your presence, yeah, chances are that to your field of vision, yeah, there's going to be someone who's sitting there hating on you. I'm telling you, if somebody, uh, I call it's a wave function collapse. If somebody is sitting there, is not thinking about you, and as soon as they think about you, as soon as they collapse into thinking good things about you, at the same time, there must be someone in that vicinity who's collapsed into thinking negative about you. Yeah. So as soon as you see someone giving you positive energy, try it yourself. Yeah. Look around in your panoramic view. Look around. You're gonna see someone to the side somewhere sitting there looking at you like that. It's going to happen. So where there's good, there's gotta be evil just to balance the universe. So you can predict when you're gonna get targeted. Yeah. If all you're seeing is good, yeah, where is the evil in your life? It's got to be happening somewhere at the same time. Yeah, it's destiny, it was written. Yeah, so this wave is doing that, and if you're experiencing that, then this must be there. Yeah, it's a matter of figuring out if you're experiencing that, then this must be there. then at some point you'll be experiencing that. Yeah. So you need to figure out how to predict your targeting by considering entanglements like that. It's not a jumping of properties. It's not a jumping of properties. It's just an equilibrium, a balancing of energies. Yeah. So what we normally find in science is we find it hard to explain what came first. Yeah. The cause or the effect. No. Is it consciousness that came first? Yeah. Or what consciousness is observing that came first? Because they say consciousness emerges nature and nature emerges consciousness. So we just don't, it's a circle, we just don't know what came first. Yeah. So this new consideration lets you understand that as soon as you've identified who loves you in a situation, yeah, you then know that the one that hates you must be one of the other ones. And now when we get into the reasons, these are subjective reasons. If a woman starts to hate you, another man, if a woman starts to love you, another man starts to hate you instantaneously. Instantaneously. So when you run into a situation, yeah, where if you're, I'm an ugly looking man and I love my ugliness, but so I didn't think I'll have to worry about that. But I've noticed that I have to worry about that too. If you walk into this situation where and then a woman starts to be attracted to you, yeah, just know that as soon as you turn around, you're gonna see a man, yeah. And this is how perpetrating individuals start. They just precipitate into that, and you're now noticing that children are born hating you, hating you, yeah. So if you have more love on this side, yeah, of life, you're gonna have more hate, yeah, on that side of life, which is death. Yeah. So when they're born and they come into this world, they come into this world with the hatred they had when they was in the non-living side. Yeah, because death and life are also in a superposition, which brings me to superposition. Yeah. So the reason why when we look, everything disappears. When you're not looking, things collapse. They've got it the wrong way around. When you're not looking, things collapse. But as soon as you look, what you're looking at stays and the other things go back into superposition. Yeah. So things go in and out of superposition. So when you see the photon leaving a slit and it diffracts, yeah, everything is there. As soon as you look, it goes back into superposition and you see one. Yeah. This is there in nature. So when you identify love, yeah, you've fixed it here, and all the other places it could have been go back into superposition, yeah, to allow hate and all the other feelings to manifest in your surroundings. Yeah, every situation you go to, there must be a balance, and you can notice it. You can see a situation where you can sit on the middle of the road and just look at people passing by. Yeah, you reach a point where one person passes by, he's in a happy mood and smiles at you. That's followed by someone who's hating, followed by someone who's smiling. It's like it will be doing that. Yeah, you have to watch one place for a long time, yeah, to be able to predict, yeah, what's going to happen next. So before you react, yeah, this is what it means by turn the other cheek. You never know what could have happened. It could have been accident. You could have been accidentally slapped. Somebody tripped, slapped you by accident. So before you start hitting people, you wait to see. So when you go into a situation, before you start interacting with anyone, sit there and watch for like 10, 20 minutes. Yeah. And your subconscious is the most powerful thing you have. Yeah. My subconscious is so powerful that one time I was looking at a deck of cards and I said, okay, I want to see the 8 of hearts. And it just told me to wait, told me to wait. And then I went to try and lift the card and I just couldn't. And then when I finally lifted it, it was the 8 of hearts. Yeah. So your consciousness would have had to have known every card you've ever seen to know which one is coming next. Yeah. Because the longer you wait to see something, the more likely it is to, the more likely you are to see it. So if you're flicking a coin and you see one heads, and then you see one heads again, two heads, three heads, the more you spend, the longer you take to see a tails, yeah, the more likely it is to be the next one. So you know what I mean? Yeah. So you see heads, just keep picking tails, heads, tails, tails, and you could get to five, but tails is gonna be more likely to come. And the longer you spend without seeing something, the more likely it is to be the next thing you see. All right. Let me read some of your comments. Yeah, yeah, Hermetic laws, of course. Yeah, yeah. It's I'm not gonna go into the definitions of space like Hilbert space and Euler, and I'm not gonna really go into the mathematical constructs of this as well. Um, in terms of defining the laws, I'm just gonna do it from a layman perspective because I'm doing it from a philosophical point of view rather than that. But I have been there. I have looked at it in a mathematical way, and even developed models of for myself to actually model this. Because like I came up with a property of resonance. Yeah, with a question I was asking, what are they? You know what particles are fundamental to nature, but what properties are fundamental to nature? Yeah, what are the properties that cannot be subdivided any further? Yeah, you know that particles, yeah, like quarks, these cannot be subdivided, for example. Yeah, they're the most fundamental particles, but there's also properties. Yeah, like the property of heat. Yeah, it doesn't exist because if you was a photon, you don't know if you're hot or cold. Yeah, that's something that the consciousness comes up with. Yeah, so but there would be properties of particles, yeah, that are fundamental, yeah, because the fundamental properties and the fundamental particles will be in superposition, you can't say what came first, the property of a particle. The property of a particle is something that your consciousness defines. Yeah, if we never define consciousness, would it exist? Right, this is the scariest question. Yeah, Dasein. Yeah, um was it Martin Heidegger? I think is the one that came up with it. Anyway, if we never considered the property of consciousness, does it exist? Yeah, you say no. If we never considered something as being hot or cold, does hot or cold exist? You say no. But there is things where if we never considered them, they will still exist. Those are the fundamental properties. What are those? We don't know. Yeah. And you can't say what came first, the property or the particle. Yeah. Every fundamental particle, yeah, has properties. Are those the fundamental properties? Like spin. Yeah. Things like that have spin. Is spinning something that will always exist? Yeah. Whether you define it as such. Yeah. Is what else is fundamental? Is the property of coming into existence, yeah, is entangled or is in superposition with what is coming into existence. You see what I mean? So things pop out of nowhere, yeah, then they come into existence. So things have a property of being able to come into existence. That's a fundamental property, yeah. It exists at the same time, yeah, as the particle that's coming into existence. Yeah, but I don't want to link it to what targeted individuals are experiencing. Yeah, so what I want you to do is just like basically look at one situation long enough, just look at it for a shitload of time, yeah, and get accustomed to the movement of positive and negative energy towards you. Okay, it's like trying to see what's happening at the double slit and seeing one. Yeah, when you're sure that this person, yeah, is being negative about you. When you go to look, yeah, it will be someone else. Yeah. When you go to look there, it will be someone else. So you can't go chasing them. Yeah. You just have to look at how it jumps. Yeah. So you say, this person's being negative towards me. Remember what I said? If they're being negative towards you at one time, yeah, in a few seconds, minutes, I don't know how long, they'll be positive towards you at another time. And they switch like that because when someone's being positive towards you, yeah, someone's being negative towards you. Now, if you go and look at that person and then he switches and starts to become positive towards you, that one who's being positive towards you starts being negative. Yeah, that's the consequence of finding out who is perpetrating on you. Because consciousness has the ability, they have the ability to switch how they feel about you consciously. And as soon as they do that, nature has to balance things. Somebody else has to start hating you. So you don't go around chasing people who are hating you or not. So you just look and say, okay, at time equals 0, that one's being negative towards me. And then you start looking. At time equals 5, oh, now it's that one. Okay, at time equals 10, oh, now it's that one who's being negative. Yeah. And you can try and predict which one is going to be negative towards you next. This is using the process of entanglement, but this new consideration that I've put in is the same energy source. If you're seeing one part, obviously the other part has to be in existence. Yeah. So if you're seeing this as being up, obviously the down bit has to be there somewhere. And if they were together, yeah, when they're separated, and there's a property of resonance, yeah, if things were doing that when they're separated and they were doing it out of phase, as in something was like that, yeah, and you separate them, yeah, if you see that this is like that, obviously that one was like that. But if you wait and see that that is like that, obviously this one will be like that, because that's what they were doing when they were together. It was continuous. There's no jumping of properties. It's just the time it takes you to measure things, yeah, explain, yeah, how long it takes, the time it takes for the other thing that was connected to it to be in an opposite state. Yeah. So that's all it is. The time it takes you to measure things, explain why. Once you see that, yeah, the time it takes you to recognize that is the same time it takes for that one to be in the opposite state. Yeah, it's very hard to explain. So coming back to consciousness, you look for like 10, 20 minutes, and then you say, right, this one's being positive, that one's negative. It's very confusing. You might need more than 10 minutes. Yeah. And you can say, right, I've seen that one being positive towards me. I've seen that one being negative. I've seen that one being positive. There's one that hasn't been negative towards me yet. Yeah. So I've seen the other one, so I'm pretty sure that one is gonna be next. Yeah, it can double back on itself. I can be sure that that one's gonna be next. But now you know who's gonna be your next perpetrator. Yeah. Um, yeah, focus with a bow and arrow. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, Donna. Yeah, it's like focus with a bow and arrow. What do you mean by that? I'm not quite sure. I'm just reading the live chat. Yeah. So basically, this is a way of keeping yourself safe by predicting where your hatred is gonna be coming from. Yeah. Just know that it's part of a universal balance. Where there's good, there must be evil. Yeah. It's the way it is. Yeah. You see situations that say 1 in 10 people are left-handed. I'm left-handed. Yeah. So that means if you're in a room and you see one person coming in is right-handed, right-handed, right-handed. If you see 8 people coming in, you're pretty damn sure, 99% sure. If you see 9 people coming in, you're 99% sure that the next fucker that walks in there is going to be left-handed. Yeah. It's a bit like that. Yeah. But that's dealing with the law of probabilities, and it's not as straightforward as that. Yeah. Sometimes it could be in a situation where there's 4 left-handed people. But barring those weird moments, most of the time, if you see 9 people passing you and they're all right-handed, You could say with 80-90% confidence that the next person you're going to see passing you is going to fulfill that probability, right? Not all the time, but most of the time it's like that. Yeah. You need a sample space that with very, very large numbers. Yeah. If you focus on the target long enough, you can't. I like that. You can't miss it. That's exactly what it is, but I've never had it been put so simple as that. Exactly how it is. So if the target is the area or catchment where you are, if you look at where you are long enough, you can't fail to get it. Right? So that's kind of true. So I don't like for you to I wouldn't like target individuals to open the door and just immediately go into a fight. You open the door and stand there for half an hour and get accustomed to what's happening. You can't fail to miss it. You can't miss it. You can't fail to get it. You can't miss it. Right? It's kind of like that. Yeah. And this is a way we forget this. We forget this. Yeah. You could do this as you're praying, just to get. I'm an empath, so I feel different energies coming through me. As I feel people being positive, negative, coming through me all the time. People projecting their evil eye on me. Sometimes you feel like you're being watched. Yeah, and you can deduce who's watching you from even the spirit of a man feels different from the spirit of a woman. Yeah, if you're an empath, if a woman's giving you the evil eye, it feels different. Yeah. You know when you get that feeling that somebody's watching you, like, yeah. But if you listen to that feeling, yeah, I use the word listen very loosely here. It's not You're not actually using your ears. You're listening with your mind. Yeah. If you listen carefully to that feeling, if you become more intricate with trying to figure out what it is, you could start to sense that that's a woman, that's a young man, that's an old woman, that's a young woman. You can start to sense things like that from that feeling of being watched. I feel as if somebody's watching me. Staying there. It's like I feel like it's a boy or a girl or a man or you can start to get so much information from um, just having that feeling and just concentrating on that feeling and just concentrate on reading more and more about it. Yeah. And that's also a way of protecting yourself, trying to figure it out from your animal instinct. Yeah. This one's gone on for half an hour. It's a bit long. So consider this new way of looking at entanglements. Yeah. They also have it scientifically, but you can't tell me that the property of spin jumps. Yeah. And then when it gets to the other side, it's the opposite. It's not obviously the same property if it's the opposite that's turning up now, is it? Yeah. So it's just a matter of you seeing the same um, body of energy, yeah, from a different space, yeah, which means that energy it's not everywhere at the same time. It's just that if things are entangled, if one thing was doing that and the other was doing that, they'll still be doing that when they're separate. Yeah. At what phase do you look at it? Yeah. If you look at it at that phase, obviously this one will be at that phase because they've been out of phase when they were entangled. They were out of phase when they were entangled, but you couldn't tell which one was doing what. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Um. Yeah. Well, you don't dwell on it. You can. I mean, you can build up this talent. But you don't dwell on it because obviously you're going to be targeting as you're doing that. Yeah. They are people who are doing some heavy duty remote viewing, that whenever you start to learn something, they distract you from within your mind as you're learning it. Yeah, have you ever found yourself have you ever found it hard to concentrate on learning something? Every time you try to concentrate on learning something, a feeling of negativity comes into you. Yeah, these are people who are remote viewing you straight. Yeah, remote viewing you. They know how to play this entanglements game. Yeah, they force the issue. If whatever mood you're in, yeah, if you're entangled with someone and you live in a happy mood, they're gonna be in a negative mood. Yeah. So the fact that you're entangled with someone else, if that person you were entangled with goes somewhere else, they were moving out of phase with you. So whatever phase they're in, they know that you're in the opposite phase. So they can also use that to try and guesstimate what you're thinking at the time. Yeah. Um, so you, it's so basically, and then remote viewers, yeah, they can um, project their feelings into your mind. Yeah. And when you feel like learning, a feeling of procrastination overcomes you. That's somebody else who's bringing that feeling into you. Um, and they will distract you from learning what you need to learn. They'll distract when you feel like exercising, a feeling of not wanting to do it comes into your mind. And these feelings, if you notice them, they'll be strategic. Somebody can make you feel like not doing the things you need to do to survive. They make you feel like not exercising, and then you catch diabetes, obesity, and die. So they make you feel like not eating, and then you catch anorexia and you die of starvation. Yeah. So these people, they attack you by making you feel like not doing the things you need to do to survive. Yeah. So that's killing you when they kept their hands clean. Yeah. They'll try and kill you by making you do or not do things that you need to do, yeah, to survive. The best way to kill someone as a remote viewer is to make them neglect themselves, yeah, by just going into the minds and always feeling negative about the things they need to do to look after themselves. The health service that we have studied the human condition. They know what you need to be doing to keep yourself healthy. These perpetrators read the same reports, yeah, and they said, right, we need to stop them from doing that because they know if people don't do this, they catch this disease. So when a witch out there says, I want him to catch this disease, he or she calls a remote viewer and says, right, to catch that disease, we need to stop him from doing that. And every time you feel like doing what you need to do to stop yourself from catching that disease, he'll sit in your consciousness and make himself feel like he doesn't want to do it. If he does that long enough, you're going to feel like you're the one who doesn't want to do it. Then you end up neglecting that and you catch that disease like they predicted. So, but you need to understand um, entanglements. Yeah. We all came from the same energy. But during that moment when we're all confined in the Big Bang atom, we were all out of phase with each other. Yeah. To form a whole. Yeah. And when we separated, we were slightly out of phase. Every molecule or energy is slightly out of phase with every other molecule in the universe. Yeah. So hold on. Let's see. Uh, oh dear. Uh, oh dear. Mm, yeah. Yeah. So all those things you can learn that. Donna, your case is so severe. I'm not even. I haven't even gone through everything I'll need to go through to be able to help you with that. Your case is so severe. You what you've done to cope so far, yeah, it would be so advanced for your situation that I need to make sure that I cover all the relevant knowledge, yeah, that I know, yeah. And you should be able to know if you're doing that, and you just pick and choose to see what's helpful to you and what isn't. You just ignore that. But if you've been hit by 10 cars, you should have been doing that, sitting there before you go out. just looking at your environment, yeah, looking at where you're going, the direction where you're going, and 360 as well, for a good half an hour, just to see, yeah, just to try and predict when it's going to happen, yeah. And you would be able to predict when people are going to do the other things that they've done to you, like the invasions and the assaults that they've subjected you to. Yeah, you'll be able to predict when someone's peak and they're about to explode, or they're about to cause someone to do that to you. You'll be able to predict. You'll be able to. Everyone who's going to attack you would have seen you at some point. Yeah, the people they're going to call to attack you, you wouldn't have seen. But every time you're attacked, it's because somebody called someone to do that to you. Yeah, you need to look. Yeah, and being suspectful of people, suspecting people, it is the best way of making sure that it jumps out of that person. So if I suspect you, I know that once I suspect you, yeah, it's not you. So if you suspect everyone around you, yeah, the chances of them being someone who caused people to attack you would have been reduced. Yeah, because nature knows when you know. Yeah, the diffraction experiments shows you that nature knows when you've looked. Yeah, it knows when you've looked. So as soon as you suspect someone, yeah, it jumps out of that. If you don't, whoever you don't suspect, the last place you look for the keys, that's where they will be. Whoever you don't suspect, that's the one who'll be doing it. Not guarantee you, I'm 99% positive. Yeah. If you go through your mind and you're suspicious of everyone, not to attack them, but just for the purpose of making sure it's not them that do you harm. Yeah. The last person you suspect will be the one that they use. So when you look at what's happening in your environment before you set out, you look for half an hour and you suspect everyone there so that you can clear your path. Yeah. When you're walking, you suspect everyone there so that you can clear your path. And if you suspect them and they're your remote viewer, they will start blurting out things. So then you know that it was going to be that one and he doesn't want to jump out of that one. Yeah. And then there's other things you can do after that. Um, yes. Yeah. So there's quite a lot of things that they'll be doing, but you need to use that preventative step. Yeah. Because once they know that you suspect that one, the storyline they had for that one, they'll cancel that and they will start another storyline with someone else. You need to clear your path. You need to suspect everyone around you, but don't believe it as such. Just suspect it and analyze it. Suspect it in a way where you're like, I swear that person is trying to harm me. If they was trying to harm me, how would they go about it? And you start to realize what they could do, and then whoever's listening to your mind will stop it from being that person. But if you, the people who are in your immediate vicinity are the ones who have seen your state of mind. They're the ones who are entangled with you. And when they separate from you, yeah, they can become other people, they can become tools that other people can use to get to you. Yeah. There's someone who's always got their eye on you, Donna. Someone you don't suspect. To end this, you need to figure out which one of your people you don't suspect. Yeah. And once you start suspecting him, if he's really, really spiteful and hateful, he will start to shout out and forget that he's not supposed to be admitting, not supposed to be showing any signs that's seen there. You start suspecting him, and then you start saying, you do it in your mind. You say, you do all of that conversation in your mind. And as soon as you start to suspect him in your mind, out here he will say, stop doing that. How could I be doing that? Like he's seeing into your mind. Yeah. Now, when you see that kind of reaction, yeah, now you've realized it. Yeah. And you can start the fight from there. Yeah. I'll tell you what to do next. This has gone on for too long. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna end this, keep this short. Yeah, but watch out for the next stream. Like I said, this is some red pill shit. Yeah, it's not gonna be really extreme, but it's gonna be different from the norm. Yeah, from the ideal dream. Yeah, welcome to the real world.